Hello? Check 1, 2. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at this point. So there's very little to describe how angry I am right now. Yeah. This is my life now. Spent $2,000 on a computer. Hold on. When in doubt, unplug it and plug it back in, right? That's the kind of game. Okay, it's not that. All right. Because why wouldn't there? Wait. Oh, it is working now. Unplug it and plug it back in. Yes, for anybody who's keeping count, that means I have blue screened twice today. So let's run through these before I blue screen again and I lose my mind. I remembered I don't actually have any notes for the esports categories, so I'm just gonna try to pick these off the top of my head. Team Liquid, I feel. Oh, I should say though, there are 4 categories that have indicators like this. The 3 esports categories and the game of the year. These are all weighted questions this year. I try to be very clear. It's the esports categories, you only get half a point. In game of the year, you get 2 points. You'll recognize the game of the year thing from last year. We did that for 2 points, but the esports categories being half a point is new this year, so I wanted to draw your attention to that. I gotta say, my assumption with 3 League of Legends teams listed here is that... I'm guessing the mic needed to be reset to be picked up by the computer again? Yeah, probably. With 3 different League of Legends teams, I am assuming that League of Legends had a pretty big year. We're gonna go Genji. Esports athlete. I'm gonna go Zaiwu. I think I've voted for that guy before, but taskbar centered. That's Windows 11, baby. Best esports game, again, we're gonna go League just because League had 3 different team nominations there, but if I noticed that, I might have picked it for game. Oh, good. Right, so nobody really cares about these. That's not nice. I don't follow those closely. That's all I mean there. My content creator of the year. I don't actually know. Here we can. So, I did Gen G for esports team. We did Zaiwu. I'm just trying to see from that shot there, can we tell what sport it is that Zaiwu's playing, but I don't think we can. And League, like I said, esports categories, we're good. Okay. This one's an easy one for me because I've seen exactly one of these people. This guy I feel like I've seen like really blow up on Twitch. So we're gonna do that. Queso. Okay. Now my notes should be relevant. They are not. I don't have notes for this either. Why don't I have notes for this most anticipated game? Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei. Oh, that's probably why. I don't know if I'm just grossly overthinking this, but I can't help but think how crazy that trailer went when people picked it up and the number of years that people have been waiting for this. Like, Death Stranding 2 and Ghost of Yotei, don't get me wrong, there's going to be a lot of action about those, but I feel like nothing compares to Grand Theft Auto 6. People went crazy for that, and I just... Yeah. I just want to make sure... Okay. I think I guessed on this one. Let me see if I have any notes. Yeah. I think I just guessed here. For best adaptation, I didn't even know Like a Dragon was a thing. I didn't know this animated Lara Croft was a thing either, so I discounted those two. I know I'd heard of Arcane before, but I'd never watched it. I seem to remember a lot of action around the Fallout series. I don't necessarily know if that was positive coverage, but I know there was a lot of coverage there. So we're going to go Fallout. Alright. Did I have notes about this? I feel like my search function isn't working through my notes, so let me scroll through this real quick. Mobile game, AR, VR. Any major deviations from what you voted for here, Mitchell, while I'm looking through my notes? I feel like I gotta give it to Helldivers just with how popular that became, because everybody was talking about Helldivers. Everybody was talking about playing it. We've exactly won the same so far, so yes. What did you pick differently? Did you pick Arcane? Never mind, no two. You did? Yeah. I feel like it's either one of these two. Because I know I'd heard of Arcane before, and I remember it being fairly popular. I never saw anything about it. Yeah, everybody was talking about Helldivers too. Black Ops 6 is an odd one here for me. It's always odd to see those games that, like, just show up at the last possible minute. As far as, like, Game Award, like, acceptance windows. Like, oh, anything related, prior to this day, and the game just sneaks under there just under the gun. So Call of Duty is a weird one for me. I actually played Super Mario Party Jamboree earlier today. A lot of fun. But it's just I don't think it captured, like, the Helldivers, like, phenomenon. Tekken 8, sure. Warhammer, forgot this was a thing. Let's see here. So the search function is definitely not working, so I'm gonna have to. Basically, this one was a guess. But, honestly, I kind of just picked this one because, that whole EA Sports. It's in the game. That's like all I've got here. And yeah, sim strategy. I went with Manor Lords. I don't really know any of these. I kind of know Frostpunk 2 just because I vaguely played like I played like 20 minutes of the first Frostpunk game. Age of Mythology has been here forever, but giving it to a sequel, I just don't know how I feel. So same with Frostpunk 2. Don't know this. Manor Lords I'd seen a little bit about as far as like great big battles with like peasants and everything. I don't know. I'm making up a lot of this crap as I go, guys. All right. This is another one I struggled with. And please feel free to tell me, Mitchell, what you think about any of these. I have any TikTok chat? No, I don't. 200 likes though. I'll take that. Multiplayer, sports, sim, family. Okay. I feel really weird about several of these. Mainly because I thought Astrobot was one player. I thought this was one player. I thought this was one player. And I thought this was one player. So I kind of by default did Jamboree. I had written that down initially, but it's just Astrobot got so much attention. I'm still struggling with a lot of these, quite frankly. It's hard for me to look at anything other than Super Mario Party as family. Yes, it does get competitive, but just the very basic nature of saying, okay, here's a bunch of mini games. The mini games themselves are I did the same logic despite Astrobot being nominated for What do you mean the same logic, Mitchell? I've been saying a lot and I don't know how delayed my chat is. You also pick Mario Party? Okay. Best fighting game? I actually played one of these. I can't remember what I wrote down, though. Hold on. You have to agree, after all, Astrobot is nominated for Game of the Year. I don't know. I played Multiverses. It was fine. A lot of my concern here is just, like, I don't play fighting games, so I don't really know any of these. Sparking Zero, I know, got a lot of attention. This sounded like a, sequel, so I didn't do this one. This just seemed more action-adventure than fighting to me. I might have been looking at the wrong freaking shorts and not been paying attention, but this just seemed like a cash grab. This was okay. I remember hearing some people being pretty happy with Tekken. We're going Tekken. Okay. This may be a cheap answer. But here's the deal. It's funny you didn't pick Grand Blue for being a sequel when it's the 8th Tekken sequel, but I get it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Dragon's Dogma 2, don't know anything about this. I know this is a DLC, and I'm gonna wind up saying this a lot, but Elden Ring, the fact that they're including a DLC now as being eligible tells me that I'm feeling a sweep, honestly, with a lot of these categories. I feel like I tried to be fairly unbiased in the notes here, but I would not be shocked at all if this winds up sweeping. This I just feel like got overshadowed by things. This got overshadowed even worse. And I don't know anything about this. I know it's the Atlas people, and I know Atlas really knows what they're doing when it comes to making games, but this is the other part that kind of gets me. I remember reading on Twitter somebody was talking about how the way that the Elden Ring DLC worked added a lot of variability and customization. Going Elden Ring. Let me get the rest of my notes out. Okay, for this next one, I was honestly a little caught. I was honestly a little caught between these two. What exactly are the notes? It's a lot of like sentence fragments, like don't know Zelda. Too expensive, people made fun of it. Not what I think of when I think action adventure. I remember thinking a lot about these two. I know Mitchell played this. And I will admit, I did a tiny bit of research into Astrobot earlier this morning, just because I was curious how it garnered so many nominations. And apparently it is a sort of almost Mario-like action-adventure, like going around to the different franchises of PlayStation and like saving those characters from everybody's favorite franchises. Platformer, yeah. Okay, this one's entirely based on, like, nothing really substantial. Part of the reason I'm picking Astrobot is I feel like Astrobot, because it garnered so many like nominations in multiple categories, I feel like that makes it a stronger nominee in this category, and I know that's probably a crappy answer. But number two, in terms of like how many people actually played these, I feel like people are more likely to play Astrobot. This just strikes me as like more difficult, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna go Astrobot. You guys will notice too, a lot of my notes start like repeating themselves. Okay. Action game, Call of Duty, just no. Helldivers is interesting, but I kind of lump it in with Call of Duty, that it doesn't seem like an action game. Stellar Blade, I feel like the people that did say something about it said positive things, but I feel like nobody really said anything about it. I feel like we almost just like collectively missed this. It just, as far as news sources like my Twitter feed are concerned. And again, Warhammer, I forgot this was a thing. So we're going Wukong. Shooter isn't really category, so it is just action. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm bringing a lot of personal bias to this. The other thing too is just the strength of Wukong. I remember a lot of people talking about Wukong, and this showed up a lot in things like YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I know you're talking about Game Awards category. I get that. So, yeah, we're going Wukong. Sorry, I don't know if you guys have the same fear too, but every time I'm doing like a form like this, whenever I scroll down, I always go back up because I think, oh god, what if my scrolling changed my answer? Unless my notes are surprising to me, I think this one was another guess. Oh, yeah. Again, entirely personal bias here. Arizona Sunshine Remake, that seems cheap. Just like a remake of the same game, just no. Asgard's Wrath, don't know anything about it. Metal Hellsinger, I know was big in last year's Game Awards. Metro Awakening, I feel like nobody cared about. Everybody loves Batman, and just, again, personal bias. A lot of people were talking about Batman to me recently, and I saw Batman come up as of late in a lot of my YouTube shorts. So, for that reason, we're going Batman Arkham Shadow. We're getting into some hard ones here. Let's see if I have any notes here. Okay. For me, it's between these two. I don't know this. I know I've heard of this before, but I don't know anything about it. I actually almost downloaded this because I didn't know this was actually free on mobile. Because I know this took a couple of other nominations, and I think I actually gave it one. For me, it was almost like this was like fulfilling a need. Like I would have expected this to be around like a long time ago, but apparently, as far as I'm told, it wasn't, and there was nothing like it. It's almost like Pokemon's answer to. Plus, in this background track is funny. It almost seems like it was Pokemon's answer to Master Duel, or not even its answer, but more like, oh shit, like they're doing that cool thing in Master Duel, and people really like that. We should make our own like Master Duel thing. I don't know if I'm misunderstanding that too. I don't know if this app has been around for a while, but we're going Pokemon. Debut indie game, for me it was between these two. Like I said, Manor Lord seems really interesting. Yeah, I didn't think it had been out long. Balatro I technically own on the Switch, but I've never played yet. The description I keep hearing is like, oh, it's a cross between poker and solitaire. But the one thing I keep hearing about is how addictive the Balatro gameplay is. Do I have any other notes? I go back on too soon to be nominated. Fair enough. I think the main thing that put Balatro over Manor Lords for me was that there aren't really any games like Balatro as far as the whole poker meets solitaire thing. I know there's deck builders and I know there's roguelikes before, but just something about it, this seems more like more new to the scene, and just that idea of a debut indie is not just like, oh, this is our first game that's like a bunch of other games. This is our first game that makes us stand out from everybody else. Again, personal bias, whatever. Balatro. See if I have any notes here. I had one sentence of notes for all of these, which is Balatro is the only one I know. So, best independent game also, Balatro. Okay. Again, personal bias. No Man's Sky, what the hell are you doing here? Because you are too damn old. Fortnite, what's new, really? Like, I know Mitchell and I were just talking last night about a like concurrent player record breaking as far as I think it was a Juice World event. That's not how this category works. As far as community support, social media activity, game updates, I'm looking for something that like really stands out above the others. I've heard nothing about No Man's Sky community support that isn't exactly the same thing I've been hearing previously. And yeah, like I said, there's personal bias, so shut up. For me, it was between Baldur's Gate and Helldivers. Final Fantasy XIV, like, what are they even doing? Like, I know nothing about them, so. Baldur's Gate, I've been hearing a lot about mod support. And the more, like, I understand about PC games, and the more I understand about mods and how to do that, just the idea of a game maker actually being open to mod support is, you know, really nice. Helldivers, I remember, again, hearing a lot of publicity about things like just the notion of, oh, these different in-game events that people are doing and how to rally the community together about trying to achieve different things and like win back different planets and different battles. I don't even know. I'm not confident in this category. Mitchell, what did you wind up going with? No, I'm not asking you to pick for me. You did Helldivers? For the same reason I'm talking about, or like what made you pick it? Oh, so it's just like a guess? Okay. Yeah. Alright. Best ongoing game. Outstanding development of ongoing content that involves the player experience over time. I think this one was a guess for me. Final Fantasy is such an odd blind spot to me. I think it won last year. It probably did, because last year was friggin' weird. Mitchell, I know you and I were talking yesterday about, as far as the prediction stream goes, playing the game versus what you think will actually win. I know nothing about basically any of these. I don't know if this is based in any sort of reality or not, but when I first saw Diablo 4, I thought it was a little weird because I thought Diablo 4 hasn't been really out that long. So can you really nominate it for Best Ongoing when it's barely been released for a very long time? Fortnite seems good. It's just it almost like seems to me they jumped the shark too early. Almost a year? Alright. They innovated so much. Like, if this was 5 years ago, I would have given this to Fortnite, absolutely. But they just dropped a big DLC recently. Okay. They innovated so much at the beginning that you can't really innovate anymore. At least you ask me. Final Fantasy, I know nothing about. Destiny 2, I just hear nothing about. Helldivers, I hear a lot about. Helldivers it is. I believe this was a guess. Let me see. You went with Fortnite? Mitchell's point about visual aids. Okay. Don't know anything. Don't know anything. Don't know anything. Don't know anything. This one I actually remember. And